We are in the midst of a massive month of change, and it's a second 555 portal day today, so that's universal change or change on a universal level. It's really hitting us hard, and so I am here to bring you some information from Gaia. I'm Sharron Martin, and I bring through messages from our beautiful goddess Lady Gaia, who sits behind me over there. Let me begin. So I will read from my notes. I have to tell you that on a personal level, I have been very much struggling with my energetic levels. I've been quite exhausted and have had to have big days of catch up on days when I don't have clients, where I'm being really gentle with myself. And so if you are feeling like that, don't feel alone. There are a lot of us who are having that experience. So Gaia says we're in the midst of this month of change, and everybody is juggling at the moment. Juggling within and without. It's a bit like doing that while standing on a bouncy ball. And so we are having a lot of unease, a lot of discomfort and uncertainty and wobble. Everybody's stuff is coming up. It's coming up to be released, to be addressed, to be healed, to be smoothed, to be soothed, so that we can then keep rising up the ascension spiral. So we're looking for it to be, dissolved, to be shifted and released, to be attended to. So you might have been having these experiences coming up of old things coming up to be looked at, and certainly I had some days like that last week where all of a sudden I was and this just all happened within my own individual experience, where oh wow, that's a real feeling of being in a victim mentality. That's old stuff. Where's that come from? And so I sat with it, and I thought, yeah, I can feel the energy of that. And so yeah, I'll just accept that that's still sitting there a little bit for me, and I'll just invite it to move through me and to be dissolved in that way, through moving through me and integrating it and just feeling it in my body. And then I had a couple of other experiences of old wounds coming up. A wound of abandonment. I moved through that in the same way. It just sort of came in and out, and then something else which I can't remember off the top of my head. But I just want to say that that's a recognition that this is what's happening for us at this time, that these things are coming up to have a final look at, as we are, each time we move to a new dimensional level, of course, things come up at a new place. So I invite you to just breathe through those things. Just allow them to move through your body, to feel it in a sensory way. Don't give it a storyline. Just acknowledge it, and then allow it to be, move through, feeling it, and then accept it, integrate it, allow it to be either dissolved or integrated. So this is happening, what we're going through, on an individual level and on a collective level and on a planetary level. And Gaia says, keep your balance, come into centre, come into the present moment, and to use the breath for this. So breathe in, focus on the breath coming in, allow it to move in, down through your body, and then out through the mouth. And you just use that to come into shifting out all distractions. So you come into centre and into present, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And so she says to keep your eye on where you're going, that it's important to hold that in your vision. Keep your eye on the horizon. We are going through very kind of energetically murky times, because a lot's coming up to be released. We're feeling it around us, within us, underneath us, above us. It's everywhere. but coming up for release, it's a really good thing, because it's the release before the movement into a higher dimensional space. And so we need to hold the vision whilst looking at what is also going on in front of us, but not to get dragged into it. There is going to be a lot, as Gaia said, a lot would be coming up during this month to be seen, to be shown, to be revealed for us to look at, and some of it will not be pleasant, which is why it's kind of coming up, as she said, in little pieces, so we can gather it together. It can be in bite-sized pieces and we can more easily assimilate it, but we will be showing things to do with a lot of things around fraud and a lot of things around abuse, sexual abuse, around the trafficking of children and women, not just children and women, but predominantly children and women. And we will learn about many of those things. It will be shocking, it will be challenging, and so the thing to do with it is to try not to get into story around it, to see it, to feel it, to go to compassion in your heart, to go to allowance. Yes, this has happened. I feel that in my heart. And it will bring you to sadness. It will bring you to loss. It might bring you to despair. It might bring you to tears. And that's okay. That's part of our process, as we will be observing and acknowledging and being shown things that have gone on in our world that have been well hidden from us. And so all of that is coming up in bits and pieces for us to accumulate and assimilate. And it's this, it's a stormy, rough sea. It's a passage of time that is bumpy that we're going through, but we know that when we get to the end of it, that we will be in very smooth waters, and we will be beginning to choose differently. So we'll be witnessing these things that we do not like, and so then we can make a choice personally. Do we choose to continue with that, or do we choose something different, something higher, something better, something lighter? And so that would be my encouragement to you, to be in that place. We're headed to there. We're headed to a light-filled, love-filled life where we can be working together, where we can be working in a way that's more inclusive, more collaborative, where we're sharing resource and where we are holding space for one another to come into the greatness of ourselves as individuals and as humanity. That's the kind of precipice that we're on. So I want to just go back here to some other notes. So we've got 3 of these five days during this month. So we're looking at that from it being a day, that's the number 5, a month. Of course, May is the 5th month. And we're in 2021, which adds up to a 5. So we've had a 555 portal day on the 5th of the month. We've got one today on the 14th, and we'll have a 3rd one on the 23rd of the 5th. So, Gaia often speaks about the month of May being a fulcrum month in the year. It's this time where we go through change, but it's huge. It's huge, the change we're going through this year, because we are also in a 5-year. So 3555, huge portal dates really for us to move through and transition through, to create and transform into greater freedom for self and for humanity. So this is my notes from Gaia from the first portal day on the 5th. She said, a massive change we are in the midst of experiencing, and we have been undergoing intense energies of catalytic change and alchemy. Now we are being propelled through a huge portal, rendering change in frequency and vibration into the new. And so that's what each of these 555 portals is providing for us, this opportunity to shift through into higher dimensional frequency. We are moving into the new and beginning preparation for grounding in the new structures and formations for our new earth. And so we are watching those crumbling around us, deconstructing, in order that we can move into creating new forms and structures. And that will be quite a focus for next month. But certainly the imagining of it, the creation of it, the energetic formation of it can be being held in the ethers at the moment in our imaginary realms. And so we are having this also this massive acceleration and also exponential energy. So we're going through this expansion and acceleration all at the same time. And that's another reason why we're being a bit challenged energetically. So in many ways, Gaia was saying that those who are in the first wave are holding vibration and anchorage to assist in the dissolution of the old, whilst at the same time holding energetic frequencies for the creation of the new template. So if you know that you're a first waver, that's kind of your role this month. And she says that this month first wavers will be experiencing a lot of crossover energy, so really feeling the intensity of the energies as they leave and arrive sort of through us as the conduit. And we are to stand centered and present in the 0 point, witnessing the collapse and the resurrection of the new and what is to come. And she's saying each of you may be feeling called to a particular focus, and so go there to do that, to do the dissolution, resurrection, and creation of the new in your focus. Guy says second wavers will be assimilating the new information and the impacts of collapse, as well as envisioning and dreaming up their possible futures. And then third wavers, as they become more awake and aware, will be trying to maintain balance as their world collapses around them and under their feet. And for everybody, we must each be responsible for self. Everyone is where they are at. So it's not really our role to coerce or to rescue or convince. You know, everybody's made their choice about the way that they're going to traverse this time, and some people will do that in a millisecond, and other people will do it over a longer period of time. But everybody's made their choice. So really, the thing to do is to hold your own space, do your own thing, knowing that whatever level and space that you're in, holding that vibration, that others around you are affected by that on an energetic level. So, you know, it's about being centered and staying in balance, and stay in the trust that everything is unfolding perfectly in divine order. So also be aware that you need to align with what you want, not with what you don't want. That there's this very strong refinement that needs to happen with manifestation now, because the turnaround time for that is exceptionally quick. So, you know, you really need to be responsible for your own vibration. And when you notice that it's off or out of sync, then, you know, to do some practice to bring it back in. And so Gaia was just talking to me about how to proceed with this. And it's interesting because I was taken back to this time where I was on a boat heading off to the Poor Knights, which is a marine reserve, and I was going to do some scuba diving there. And it was that image that was being brought to my mind. And so this is what I'm passing on to you as a way to be. So I knew that the captain of the ship was, or the boat, it was quite a big boat, was taking me to the right direction. I didn't know I was going diving in a new place, although I'd done quite a lot of diving at the Poor Knights. This was a new place that we were going that day. And so I knew that the boat was going to take me there. I didn't have to worry about that. I just had to sit back and relax, knowing that I was going in the right direction because it was being captained by the captain of the ship. And so that is like us on the earth at the moment. We're being captained by the divine, by Creator God, by Gaia. And so we just have to sit back and relax in that way. And I was sitting on the bow, and I just was enjoying the sun. I had my eyes closed and was just experiencing the sound of the ocean. So I was tucked away from everybody else, and so I could just be in my own thoughts, and I was just dreaming up the experience of what I was heading off to do. And so that's the kind of attitude, the place to sit as we're going through this. Just occasionally open your eyes to take in the surroundings, but keep your eye on where we're heading. And this is how we do May, okay? So doing that whilst being present with the breath, not getting caught up in the drama and the story of what is going on around us, because remember that things are all happening on different levels. So on this three-dimensional physical level, we're being shown things that are shocking and horrific that will really send us into very wobbly places of despair and concern. And so touch on that, and then just recognize that it's just on that level, and that on another level we're shifting out of that. And in order to shift out of that, we have to see it. We have to see what is there, so that we can be sure that we don't allow ourselves as a species to go there again. And Guy was saying that stuff will come up for us, things that you thought, and this is what I was just speaking about before, actually, that you'd move through and past, and to just attend to them, to just make the changes, to see the truth, to make the adjustments and the realignments, and to learn to be in the practice of becoming. So we're becoming a fifth dimensional race, if you like, a fifth dimensional species. We're moving into fifth dimensional existence, and we're becoming more and more of that. So more and more of that vibration, of that frequency, and anchoring and holding that within self, which then allows others around us to receive the benefits of that higher vibration, and it assists them in raising theirs. We have to become comfortable with the uncomfortable, and comfortable with the unknown, with the unstable, but keep our eye on the destination. And in our hearts, that's our go-to place. Come into your heart, and from there, sit with your own divinity in your own heart. Feel the love there. Breathe in behind the hand and just feel the love that sits in that space. Moving into light-filled, love-filled, gentle times as the truth comes up around us. So you may have had, like I did, I had a Saturday where I was just totally hammered. I think last Saturday, hammered by the energies, could just, I just moved from sitting in one warm place to the next, really, and did quite a lot of sleeping. So we have to just be in the simplicity of things at the moment. Try not to get caught up in trying to understand and know everything, but just to be the observer, and to hold that beautiful divine space in our own hearts as we're holding that for ourselves and for the people around us, but without being responsible for those around us, each of us in our own journey, because we're moving into this being able to be. It's not about ignoring everybody else. It's about allowing them to be in the space that they need to be in, and certainly assist when it's asked for. But we're moving into this more community based, more shared resource. And at the moment, though, it's about you know, hanging on as the boat's going through these rough seas. You don't want to fall over and fall overboard, so you need to be keeping your own stability, if you like. If you've ever been in a rough sea, you'll know that that's paramount, to be, you know, holding on to something so that you can be riding the waves rather than being thrashed about by them. And I think that might be all, but I was just reminded of that song this morning, which I don't know all the lyrics to, but you know, it's because the world, it is a changing, and that's the place that we're in this month. So let's ride the waves together, and let's hold our own vibration as high as we can, in centre, in present moment, knowing that that assists everybody else. So I send you so much love from my heart and from the heart of Gaia, as we're really, you know, riding this into our new world.